everybody, and welcome to JAMaROO Kids. I am teacher Jamaica, and today we're going to be talking about some fun DIY projects you can do at home with things that you could find around your home. I know a lot of people are homeschooling right now, and a lot of people are spending a lot of time in their homes, and I wanted to give you some fun activities you could do with your children with things you probably already have at home. So the first thing we're going to do is we have binoculars. These are 2 paper towel rolls that have been put together, and we are going to tape them together and cover them with paper. You could totally do this without covering them with paper. It just makes them a little bit more sturdy and a little bit more colorful. And then you can go outside in your backyard or look through the window and play an I Spy game with your binoculars, or you could go on a scavenger hunt with your binoculars. So that's lots of fun. Another fun thing we've done is we've made paw prints. I don't know if you can see these. I did this with chalk. I basically made my hand into a fist, and I put chalk on my hand. So you would have your children put chalk on their hand, or if you have paint, any kind of paint would be great. If you have something like beets in the house, you can make your own dye. You just soak them in the water for a while, and then you would put your hand in it, or even dirt from the backyard would work. There's so many different things you could do. You could use food coloring, but food coloring does stain. So if you have a washable ink pad, washable markers, or chalk, or ideally paint, you would put your hand in have your students or your children make a fist, put their hand in the paint or with the chalk, draw on their hand, then put their hand on there, and then you do your fingertips to make the toes, and you could do fun paw prints. So I did this on a dark piece of paper because I was using light chalk. But if you were doing something like making your own dye from beets, you would want to use a white piece of paper because the dye isn't going to be very dark and you want to be able to see that print. Okay, so paw prints is a really fun thing to do. Another fun thing to do is to create your own ruler. A lot of people right now are ordering all sorts of stuff from online shopping because a lot of us are in the house due to the coronavirus. And so you have to use those boxes. When you get those boxes, there's so many fun things you could do with them. If you have multiple boxes, you could use them as a backdrop to draw or paint on. You could build towers, you could build a castle. One of the schools I go to, they use all their boxes and they make a really cool rocket ship every year when they're doing their space unit. I just made a ruler, and this is great for students that are learning to count and starting to understand measurements. So I have a real ruler right here, and I made a short ruler. This is just the flap of a box, but if you wanted to use a larger portion of the box, you can make a really long ruler, and then you could go around the house and you could measure things, or you could practice tracing to make a straight line. So making a ruler is a fun thing to do, and you could make a couple different rulers. You could make a short one and a long one. But that's a fun thing to do if you're working on basic math. If you're going to be using your imaginations, you can make a scarf or a kite with scarf. Well, you can make a kite too. But I'm sorry, I meant to say a cape. So what you could do is I use my scarves as all sorts of things, hats and kites and all sorts of stuff with my imagination. But I actually had these tied together from an oral story I just did in another video where I made a magic cape. And I made a cape. So you really don't need all these scarves. You really only need one scarf to do this, but you could put it on your back, and then you could pretend to be a superhero. You could have any superhero powers that you want, and you could go flying through the sky or through your house with your superhero powers. So when you're doing this, use any fabric that you have. You could even use a towel. You could use a scarf that you own. You could tie things together, or if you're using something that's a little bit nicer or that's thicker, you could just use one thing. So making a magic cape is lots of fun. You could also use these to build a fort, which is also fun. The last thing we're going to talk about is shape art. I did this in my shape circle time for any of you that have done that with me on YouTube. I did the song, "We Can Create Shapes, Yes We Can. We can create shapes, yes we can. All we need is a few shapes in our imaginations." So basically what I've done is I've cut out a lot of shapes. If you have older children or students, they can cut out their own shapes. If you have younger students, you can cut out the shapes. And what you can do is create different pictures with the shapes. You can also practice coloring, and you can practice your shapes, your colors, and your numbers. So we could go through and count our shapes. We have 2 hearts, 1, 2. We have 2 circles, 1, 2. We have 2 rectangles, 1, 2. We have 4 squares, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have 4 triangles, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are what color? Yellow. These are blue, red, yellow, and orange. So what we do in that song is we sing, we can create shapes, yes we can. We can create shapes, yes we can. All we need is a few shapes and our imaginations. And we practice making different shapes. So an example would be, let me take these all off. We could put these 2 circles together and we could put wings, and we would have, what does that look like? Does that look like a bumblebee? Bzzz. Oh, it kind of does. Or we could keep 1 circle. We could get out our rectangles to create a body. And our triangles for our arms. And we could have a person. We could actually have legs too. If we wanted, we could put the legs down at the bottom with the triangles. We could also create a house by combining our rectangles and our squares. What I love about this project is almost everybody has some kind of paper in the house. It doesn't even have to be construction paper. You could do this with newspaper. You could do this with magazines. You could do this with recycled bills. You just cut out the shapes and you create pictures. So that could be the house, and then we can make a roof, kind of like this. And look, we have a house. Wow. We could create a rainbow. Let's see if we could do a rainbow. This. And a sun. Wow. You could go on and on and on. It's so much fun to create art with shapes. There's so many different things that you could do. So that is another fun one. See, I don't even want to stop. I'm like a child once I get started in my creativity. I don't want to stop. I want to make a little bunny for you because I like bunny rabbits. Here's a bunny head, and we could have some bunny ears. And we could have a bigger, maybe we'll make a bigger bunny body, and then we could have a bunny tail. Oh, look at the bunny. He's so happy. The bunny, I think the bunny needs some legs. What do you think? I only have 1 triangle. I need another triangle. Oh, we could use the heart as legs. Here we go. Let's have this be our little paws. Let's do this. Look at that, it's a bunny. So the point is that you have all sorts of stuff in your home, and you need to think outside of the box and get creative for doing crafts, doing dramatic play, integrating all sorts of basic math and basic science and all sorts of language development into those activities. So don't be shy, have some fun, get a little creative, look around your house, try to reuse any of those things that would normally be going into your recycling bin, and I hope to see you in another video. Have fun creating with your children. Bye-bye.